Well, good morning, happy gardeners. This is Ed with the First Time Gardener, bringing you back. I wanted to show you a transition now that we're going through in our garden. I want to show you a couple things that we've added and just give you a walkthrough and see how the garden's going. It's been a little while since I did a walkthrough, so it's spring in the air. Things are starting to bloom, and thought I'd just give you a quick walkthrough. So we just purchased some strawberry bushes that we are going to plant in here today, and we're going to just bring them up into this area here that I had them last year. And then right next to them we have our propagated blackberry bushes that we started last year, and they're starting to come out. This one here has got a little bit of foliage that's coming out. Over the others, I'm just waiting for them to bud out, and we're going to plant these later on as soon as we have some roots on the bottom coming out from the plant itself. We'll plant those again. And here's our blackberries that we have. And this is all last year's growth, so all this growth from last year will be our berry production. And you can see the buds just now starting to look like they're getting ready to open, where we're going to have flowers. So I'm hoping that we have a decent yield of blackberries this year. I have 2 plants that are in here from a year ago spring. Those are plants that I bought at Lowe's, and we put them in there. And then I have one in the middle that's a propagated plant that I planted, that I did from one of the 2 plants that we did from last year, and that's right here in the middle. So this is the one I propagated, just like the containers I just showed you, and it's doing really well. It's grown a lot there, so it's picking up. So it's doing really well. So for those of you who like growing potatoes, maybe don't have a large room in the ground area to grow potatoes, I started some in pots, and I wanted to show you those. And they're doing really well, and these are the red skin potatoes. And I put 1 potato in each pot. Now these, typically I grow them in 5-gallon buckets, but I wanted to do an experiment this year, and I did them in 3-gallon buckets. So they're doing really well. They're very vibrant. They're growing well. I need to fertilize them again. Actually, later on today I'm going to fertilize everything with some fish emulsion. But they're doing well. So the purpose of putting them in the 3-gallon buckets is I wanted potatoes, but I don't want them to grow really big. And I'm seeing if putting them in a smaller container will grow as many potatoes as we would in the ground, but they're smaller. We like the smaller red ones for like stews and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that these are going to be to where I can just come out when they're ready, dump a bucket full, and get maybe a dozen small red skin potatoes to put in when we're doing our stews. Now here is my in-ground potatoes right in here. Now I've already, right here, I've dug up some potatoes the other night for dinner. This one is kind of it's ready to be dug up, but I'm just leaving them in the ground until we're ready to use them. These are all red skin. I have 4 rows of red skin, and then these last 2 rows here, they're russet potatoes. By the way, these are all store-bought potatoes that they had them on sale for $3.99. I bought 3 5-pound bags, and I just put them in my pantry and left them in there until they started chitting. And then once they had a good sized chit on them, that's when I planted them out here. And you can see the progress. And a lot of people tell you, oh, you only can get organic potatoes. That's not true. These are non-organic. The only thing is you know, the organic, they don't spray with an inhibitor to keep them from chitting, where the regular potatoes, they do. But eventually it wears off and they chit anyway. It's just a matter of time. So you can definitely get non-organic potatoes. Now, if you're worried about and you only do organic, well, then you can buy the organic potatoes and do the same thing in your garden. Now, coming up to here are our onions, and they're doing super great. You can see they're doing really well. Now, those on that side of the half of the raised bed are red potatoes, and this side here are the sweet potatoes. And if you take a look, some of those stalks are pretty thick. They haven't started bulbing stage yet, so these are still in the growth stage, vegetation growth stage. They're going to start bulbing as soon as we get 10 to 12 hours of continuous daylight. That will switch them from the vegetation growth to the bulbing stage. So we still have probably another month to go before they start bulbing. So, but it's important in the growth that all these here, you can get as many of these growing, because each one of these that come out new shoots gives you a ring around your onion, which makes it another ring, which makes them larger, of course. And then stuck in here, I have a little bit of celery. This is a celery plant. Now, that's just a chopped off end from the store. I chopped the end off, planted it, and it's starting to go. I had two, one of them died, that one has survived. And this is my cilantro plant, which is starting to bolt right now. And I think I'm going to let this go to seed, so I get some seed from this for next year, or for spring garden anyway. But yeah, those are the onions. They're doing really, really well. And then if we come over on this side, this is the transition part, going from winter to spring and summer. Right there, I have a bunch of cucumbers that are coming up. Now, let's see. These cucumbers, I have two sets of cucumbers. The ones on this side of the trellis are the Dragon burpless. Now, those are going to be your like English cucumbers that get long. They're going to probably be about 9 to 12 inches long. And then the ones that are on this side that are just now starting to come up here, there, these are your traditional just regular slicing cucumbers like you get at the store. So we're putting them together back to back and see how they do. I've never done back to back different varieties, so I don't know if it's kind of another experiment to see if cross-pollination will change the cucumbers at all. So we'll see how that does. But then I have these are my sugar snap peas that are starting to come up there. I'm trying to get them to catch up on, these are bamboo stakes that I have in the ground. I'm trying to get them to crawl up and attach to the bamboo rather than growing them on a trellis. I've done this in the past a couple years and they've done pretty well, but I have to get some garden tape and tape them up because they keep falling down, especially with the wind blowing. But that's what I have here. And then these are my continuous beets that are growing. They're doing really well. You can see the size of them. There's several in here that are ready to pick. I just haven't picked them yet. But you can look underneath here. Those are all pretty much ready to go and eat. But I have some new ones coming up here. We'll see how they do, because they're a cold weather tolerant thing and we're getting into some heat, so hopefully those will grow and get some bulbing started before it gets too hot in the summer, where they're just going to die off. But there's my line of beets. And then over on this side are my green beans. These are the Blue Lake green beans. These are the traditional ones you see in the grocery store. They get between 6-7 inches long. So I've sowed them right in the ground. So far they're coming up pretty well. Don't see too much bug activity. This one looks like we had a little bit here on that leaf, but all in all, the bug infestation here with caterpillars and all that has been very low so far. So, but you know, it's only a matter of time until that starts happening. All right, and then over here we have cow peas. These are black-eyed peas. I did really well with them the first round that I had over the winter. We picked a bunch of them. I got a whole jar full of them. So I planted them in. It might get too hot for them to really produce too well, but we'll see what happens. And then this little section with everything little coming up, these are my zinnias. Planting some flowers out here so the bees have something to come to. So they're doing really well. So these are seeds that I harvested from my other zinnias I had growing in the fall. I let the flowers dry out, picked them in a bowl, and then let them sit about a week, and then I planted them. So that's all them coming up, so didn't spend any money at the store. And then we have some more cilantro growing here, and we're just putting it in this corner for now. And this bed here I'm going to be prepping here soon. See, I've threw some leaves down just to hold the moisture into the soil as I've been watering. But this is going to transition into all of my peppers. So we're going to have jalapeno peppers. We're going to have the red, yellow, and orange bell peppers in here, and then I have a sweet salad pepper too that I've started. They're all in starts up there. They're only about an inch tall right now, so they're doing pretty good. But this whole bed is going to be nothing but peppers this summer. And then of course I've got all of my carrots going here. So this half of the carrots are all ready to pick. That other half there we started probably about 3 weeks later. And this whole end right here, they're just getting started. They won't be for another 2 months, so they're growing really well. But you can see right here I have a nice if you look over there, there's a nice size. These are the Bolero carrots, but they're all about that size in here. I've got some nice carrots, and they can grow for another month or two. They can grow for another month or two in here. I kind of leave this as my pantry. I come out here and pick 6 or 7 or 8 of them, whatever we need for dinner. Just kind of leave the rest of them grow in the ground. So they're still growing. So it's a lot easier than trying to harvest them and figure out what to do with them. Now, eventually, later on, I will have to pull them up and can them or something, or put them in the freezer, because I'll have too many of them. But we're enjoying carrots right now as well. And that big bush, I forget what the name of it is, but that's a flowering thing. It's a stalk that comes up with big purple blooms of flowers. So that's probably a month away from blooming. But put that in there for the butterflies and that. So let's move over to our fruit trees. This is our Florida King peach tree. The buds are just starting to kind of like, you can see they're just starting to come out and get puffy. They haven't opened up yet and flowered. But that's a single peach tree that we have. Again, it's the Florida King, and it is self-pollinating, so you don't have to have 2 peach trees in order to get fruit. And this is going to be the 2nd year it's growing. So it's doing really well. Then over here is our black plum. We have a black plum right here, which is, this is the same age as the peach tree. And we do have 2 of these. This one has done real well and likes its spot. Again, it hasn't shot out its blooms and blossoms yet over there, so it probably still needs another month to heat up and start going, getting out. Oh, we have one little bud right here. I see a little green bud right there starting to come out. That's the first one I've seen. Okay, and then here's our second plum tree. Now this was planted at the same time, and it's a red plum. And it was planted at the same time as the other one, but I don't know, it doesn't like its spot. It didn't grow as big, so I've got some different fertilizer to put in here, see if that's going to perk up some. But we'll see how that goes. And then this was where I had my broccoli. Broccoli did really well this year. We got a lot of broccoli, but my corn is going to go in here, and we're going to plant it sometime this week. So what I did is I came in here when the bushes were tall. So here's a broccoli plant that's left over. I'm letting go to seed. So all the bushes were about as tall as this one here, and that whole section was full. And I just came in with the lawnmower and I mowed it all down, and then I kind of just turned it into the surface. I didn't dig real deep, but so all the foliage and stuff has gotten chopped up and turned into the dirt. And then we're going to amend this with some black cow, and going to be planting our corn. We have a sweet by corn that's going in here this year. And these are our collard greens. They're doing really well. They'll probably stretch out until maybe May. We'll be able to get there. So we're getting ready to pick another bucket full and do a pot of greens again, fresh greens, this week sometime. We're off on vacation, so got a little time to go spend in the garden this year, or this week. And then this is our kale. Only have these kind of they're all shot, but these 2 are doing really well. But I'm going to pick some of this here, what we don't use in the soup, and I'm going to dehydrate some and put them away for later on during the year for our soups and stuff that we make. And then we have 2 heads of cabbage left. They're doing really good. One of these is going to be for St. Patty's Day, which is just about 14 days away. So we'll have corned beef and cabbage, and the other one I'm going to put up in the freezer. These are 2 cabbage heads that we've already harvested. And if you guys don't know, you can, once you harvest and cut the main head off, you just leave them grow like this. They'll grow back, and you'll get probably baseball, softball size heads of cabbage on these here. So if you have the space, and you don't need the space, if you just leave them in the ground and grow, you'll get some more cabbage out of those. And then let's take a walk over to our new additions to the garden area. Is we have 2 apple trees that we put in. We have this one here, which this one is an Anna apple. Let me think. One of them is, I think this is the one that's kind of like between a Golden Delicious and a Gala apple. It's a sweet apple. And then the one over here, which we bought at the same nursery, and that's a Dorset apple. So these 2 are supposed to pollinate each other to get more of a yield from the apples. So each one of these apple trees can independently be in your yard without the other one, and it will bear fruit. But they say to get the best amount of fruit and the larger fruit, these are pairable. They pair with each other, these 2 apple trees, to produce larger and more fruit on the tree. So that's why I have the 2 of them here. And then these are our blueberry bushes that we just purchased yesterday. And I'm going to show you a spot here. Look forward in the coming week. I'm going to have a video out of how I plant these blueberry bushes, and I'm going to show you my new spot where they're going. But you can see they're already coming on really nice. Now this this is a Climax, and this is a Tift Blue. We have 3 different varieties, and then the other variety we have right here is a Premier Blueberry. So from the nursery, they said that you need more than one blueberry bush in order to, again, to have 2 different brands of blueberry bushes instead of all the same ones. So this is the first time I'm growing blueberry bushes. So you know, we're gonna go by what they said and see what happens. But I have 4 of them, and I'm going to show you in a minute where we're going to go put those in. And then today I'm going to be planting this. This is a brown turkey fig. I purchased this from the same nursery. We're going to be putting that in today somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put that yet. Still undetermined. But that's going to go in the ground today. And these are some pretty flowers. I'm excited to see if we actually... So these trees are supposed to be 2 years old, according to the nursery. So they said it could fruit this year, or maybe not, so I don't know. I left all the blooms on. I know a lot of videos on people that grow apple trees say the first couple years you should cut all the blooms off and not have any fruit on it, in order to establish the root system of the tree and just actually the tree to get stronger. But being it's 2 years old, the nursery said what the best thing to do is go ahead and let it flower just like it is. And then these here, the flowers have already dropped off, so that's where we're going to be getting apples. And they said probably just thin the apples down to maybe a dozen apples to no more than 2 dozen apples on the tree. All the rest are one, you know, and then pick off the ones that are not doing so well and leave the ones that seem to be thriving on there. So we're going to give it a shot. See, that's the first time I'm growing apple trees too. So, and then our next tree that we purchased yesterday is another avocado tree, and this is the Panko avocado, which we planted this one about a week ago. And this is the fantastic avocado, and these were especially designed to grow in Florida with the temperatures that we have. I believe they were grown from the University of Florida Agricultural Center that's in Orlando. They're the ones that came up with this brand. So we're going to take this one here, and they say to plant them 10 feet apart, so from that one we're going to come over here 10 foot. So somewhere right in here we'll be planting that one today. And then last but not least, I went on Amazon. I wanted to I was looking at different videos and different people that grow blueberries, and I come to the assumption after all the ones that I watched that it's probably better to grow the blueberries either in a pot or in a raised bed, and not so much in the ground, at least for this area here. So what I did is I went ahead and I ordered 2 raised beds. Now these are 1 foot tall by 4 foot wide by 2 foot, 2 foot wide by 4 foot long by 12 inches tall. And I got both of these here. I think they were, I can't remember now, I think they were like 40 bucks for the both of them. So we just filled them up with dirt. Now I've used the dirt from a lot of other places around the yard, but if you are putting in raised beds, by all means go find a place, a nursery or something that has bulk dirt. This one is 70% compost with 30% black cow mixed in together. That's the one I bought, so I'm hoping that's what it is in there. But that's what I bought, and I bought it. You can see I went over and got a whole truckload. So that's what's left of it that I have to plant my strawberries in and stuff. So that whole truckload there was $56, and that's probably 30 bags. If you were to buy the compost, that's probably about 30 bags worth that I had in the truck. So you do 30 bags times $3 to $4 to $5, depending on where you're buying them. You know, it's $150 versus $56. So it's a lot cheaper buying by bulk. If you have the, well, I have a pickup truck to go pick it up, but they a lot of places do delivery too, where you could have it dumped in your yard and just wheelbarrow around to where you want. So anyway, I have a video coming out of planting these blueberries. I'm going to do a detailed video on how I plant them. That'll be coming out next week. So I hope you enjoyed the I call it the transitioning phase of the garden, coming from fall over winter into the spring planting and stuff now that we have going on. So if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas or something, have you seen something that's a little different that I could do in the garden, love to hear from you, and I'll get back with you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we're still trying to grow our garden channel. So if you like the content that you've seen, if you've been watching my videos and you like this one, it might be a great time to subscribe and become the first-time gardener family. So until we see you on the next video, take care, God bless, happy gardening, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.